A Date with Judy.
Hello?
Hello, Judy. This is Oogie.
Oogie. Oogie, dear, my own beloved Oogie.
Huh?
Oogie. The man who makes my heart sing with just a glance. The man who makes each moment spent with him a thrilling adventure.
But, Judy, just this morning you said I was a pot. A P-O-T pot.
I know, dear one. But that was this morning and before I talked to Tootsie Whiteman.
Oh, really? What did Tootsie say?
She said that you were the most fascinating man in town.
Oh, wow.
Well, Tootsie's been out with college men. So if she saw you in that light...
Yes.
Well, jeepers, you must have something.
That's Judy, folks. Well, let's see what's happening at the Foster house. Judy's parents and her kid brother Randolph are in the living room when the front door opens, and Judy was never so...
Absolutely revolted in my whole life.
Judy, what's the matter?
Oh, Mother, it's unfair, despicable, and completely iconoclastic.
Whatever that means.
For heaven's sake, Judy, what's bothering you?
What's bothering me? Oogie's orchestra has been evicted. That's what's bothering me.
Evicted? From where?
From his father's garage.
Oh.
What a shame. That seemed like such a good place for them to practice.
Well, yes, it was built of good, solid concrete. It looked like it could stand anything.
What happened? Couldn't the Pringle car take the vibration?
The neighbors objected. They threatened to have Oogie's father arrested for disturbing the peace.
Well, I'm not surprised. When Oogie and those pan-pounders of his start booming, it sounds like all...
Tut, tut, Father.
Like all the fire engines in town let loose at once.
And that was a neat recovery.
It's absolutely the worst time it could have happened.
Why?
Oogie is trying out this week for the BST-PFT-BSP.
The what?
The BST-PFT-BSP.
Oh, that! What the devil is it?
Why, Father, the band selected to play for the big senior prom, of course.
Well, surely you guessed that, Father.
Oh, Natch.
And if he's going to win, he's simply got to practice.
Boy, I'll say.
Poor Oogie. Imagine it. His family, his own family, turning him out of house and home.
I thought you said I was the garage.
The principle is the same, Randolph. But I told him not to worry. I told him that everyone else might turn against him, but he could always count on me.
I'm sure that cheered him.
It did. He was very grateful to Father, too.
Grateful to me? He was?
Yes. He says he'd never realized until I told him what a staunch admirer of his music you were.
I am? I mean, well, yes, of course. I've always thought that Oogie had the makings of a great musician, given a little encouragement.
Also given a little talent.
He thanks you sincerely from the bottom of his heart.
Oh, that's all right. Melvin Foster is always glad to lend a helping hand.
He says he doesn't know another person who would support him like you do.
Yes, sir. Help your friends, I always say.
And he promises faithfully that the boys won't practice later than 1 o'clock.
Well, that's all right. Practice? Where?
Why, here, Father. If we take out the couch and the big chair, this room will be large enough for the whole orchestra.
Now, just a minute.
Judy, do you mean Oogie's bringing his orchestra over here to practice tonight?
Yes, Mother.
Oogie's father is going to be arrested for disturbing the peace if he practices in their garage, so he's coming over here to practice in our living room?
Why, yes, Father.
Judy Foster, you go to that telephone and call Oogie Pringle this minute. You tell him if he so much as scrapes one violin string in this house tonight, I will personally...
But, Father...
Yes, sir. Melvin Foster is always glad to lend a helping hand.
But, Father, what is Oogie going to do? The tryouts are Saturday.
Oh, Melvin, I guess one night wouldn't do any harm.
Well, no, we aren't speaking to the neighbors anyway.
No. Positively no. Tonight, I must flatly refuse. Tonight, I have other plans.
Really, Melvin?
What other plans, Father?
I'm going to bed. And I am going to bed at 7:30.
Now, there's a big evening.
Oh, jeepers.
Well, Melvin, don't you feel well?
I feel fine. But tomorrow morning I have to meet a very important customer who's coming in on the 5:15 train.
5:15? That's practically dawn.
Yes, and it's very important that I make a favorable impression. So if there's one thing I'm determined about, it is that I am going to get a good night's sleep. I am not going to be disturbed by some kettle drum screeching, beat me, Daddy, 7 to the bar.
Well, of course, Father. I'm terribly sorry I even mentioned it. I'll call Oogie right away.
Tell him I'm sorry.
Oh, don't worry about it, Father. Oogie wouldn't dream of bothering you tonight when you need your sleep.
Well, all right.
I'll just tell him to come tomorrow night.
Oh, for the love of heaven.
Father,
Yes, Randolph?
I've got a message for you from Mr. Evans at the plant.
Evans, come on in, Randolph. I was just ready to hop into bed.
Into bed?
Uh-huh.
With your hunting boots on?
Well, Randolph, what do you know? I got my boots on. Think of that.
Yes, Father, I am.
You know, I just happened to notice them tonight in the closet, and I hadn't worn them in such a long time. I thought I'd take them out and see if they still fit.
You just happened to notice them in the closet.
Yeah.
Huh?
Funny, isn't it, how something be right in front of you for months and you'll never even see it, and then for no reason at all you
Yes, Father.
Yeah. Randolph, sometime in the course of events, you too will become man.
So they tell me.
And when you do, you'll understand that there are some things you just can't explain to a woman.
Like going duck hunting?
Randolph, how did you guess?
I didn't. Mr. Evans told me.
Oh.
And he said that when you go down to the plant for your gun in the morning, you're not to worry because the safe is empty.
Safe empty? Randolph, you mean it's been robbed?
No, painted.
Oh.
Mr. Evans said they moved the securities to the bank vault so the safe could be left open to dry.
Oh, you had me worried for a minute.
Well, Father, you don't have to start worrying until Mother finds out you're going duck hunting.
Now, look, Randolph, I assure you I had every intention of telling your mother tomorrow night where I've been. I just didn't want to mention it beforehand because, because. Well, you remember last time?
I remember. No ducks.
Yeah. And she was quite upset. See, she'd invited the Emersons for duck dinner.
And you came home with poison ivy instead.
Yes.
Not to mention the faint aroma of skunk.
All right, Randolph. But I just thought it would be better not to say anything ahead of time.
All right. But, Father...
Yes, Randolph.
Now that I know why you're getting up so early tomorrow morning, don't you think...
All right, Scrooge. Will $1 be enough?
No.
2?
No, I'd like to go hunting with you.
All right, Randolph, it's a deal. I've always wanted to take you, show you what it's like to have the most exciting experience in a man's life. But you better get a good night's sleep. We'll have to be up by 3:30.
First, I have to go to the movies with Judy and Mother.
Movie?
Yes, we thought that'd be the best way to keep from bothering you tonight.
Oh.
We want to be sure you have a good night's sleep before you meet that, important customer in the morning.
Well, goodbye, Melvin. We're leaving now.
Have a nice time, dear.
Do you have everything you want, Father?
Oh, I think so. I'm going to read a little while and then go to sleep.
Oh, that's fine, dear. Well, we'd better get started. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Sleep well, Father.
I will, dear. Goodbye. Well, now to get on with some really worthwhile reading. The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. Chapter 1, page 1. Phone. Wouldn't you know it, just when I'd got to sleep. Oh, just a minute, I'm coming. Oh, darn that table. I'm coming. Oh, hello.
Father, is that you?
Judy, something wrong?
Father, I can't talk but a minute
Well,
because
what's the
it's
matter?
right in the middle of the movie and I want to get back before I miss the part where Gregory Peck decides that he's been a heel after all.
Well, Judy, why...
I hated to leave it all, but this is the part they showed last week in the trailer, so I guess I can pick up the story all right.
Well, that's lovely. Well, was that what you wanted to tell me?
Oh, no, Father. Father, you sound like you've been asleep.
I have.
Oh. Well, the only reason I called was that I thought I should warn you that I'm expecting a call from Mitzi about a place where Oogie can practice. So you better take the phone off the hook. I wouldn't want anything to disturb your sleep.
Oh. $14,910 sheep. 14,000 doorbells. Doorbells? Oh, can't a man sleep? All right, I'm coming. Don't down that table. Man tries to get one night's sleep, and what happens? Everything. Doorbells, telephones. Well,
Hello, Mr. Foster.
Oogie Pringle, what are you doing here?
Well, I've just been ringing the doorbell. Ha, ha. Not a very good joke, is it, Mr. Foster?
No, it certainly is not.
Well, you see, if I get the job of playing for the senior prom, I have to be a master of ceremonies, too. I thought I better practice a few jokes ahead of time.
Well, when you find one, you start practicing it.
Well, I thought maybe Judy'd be here and would help me.
No, she isn't.
Oh, gosh, Mr. Foster, were you asleep?
Yes, Oogie, I was.
Oh, I'm sure sorry if I woke you up.
It's all right, Oogie. Any man with a telephone and a doorbell in his house should know better than to think he could get a night's sleep.
Well, Mr. Foster, I can fix the doorbell so it can't ring.
You can?
Sure, it's very simple. You just loosen this, and then you pull out this wire and push that screw. There, it's fixed for tonight.
Frankly, Steinmetz, it looks like it's fixed forever.
Oh, well, thank you, Mr. Foster. Well, good night, and sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams, Oogie. Well, back to the decline and fall of the Roman Empire. And then, breathlessly, Amber looked up at him and smiled. Your obedient servant, sir, she murmured. He looked at her and... What's that noise? Oh, my goodness. Somebody's breaking in. Oh, no, down that table. What's going on down there?
Hello, Mr. Foster.
Mitzi Hoffman, what are you doing throwing rocks through our windows?
Oh, Mr. Foster, I didn't intend to break the window. I thought it was open.
I still don't understand why you're going around throwing rocks through our windows.
Well, gosh, I just had to get an important message of vital import to Judy.
What message?
I found a place for Oogie's orchestra to rehearse.
Oh, why didn't I just let Oogie come here in the first place?
Well, you see, I tried the phone, but the operator said the receiver was off the hook.
Yeah, I know.
And then I tried the doorbell, but nobody
Yeah, I
answered.
see.
And I just had to let Judy know before morning. So, you see, I threw the note in her window.
All right, Mitzi, all right. I'm sure she'll find it.
Golly, Mr. Foster, I hope I didn't disturb you.
Oh, no. I never pay any attention to rocks being thrown through our windows.
Were you trying to sleep, Mr. Foster?
Yeah, that was the general idea.
Oh, well, you see, when my father wants to sleep, he usually stuffs his ears with cotton.
Cotton? He does?
Yes. You just try it, Mr. Foster.
Well, now, that's an idea, Mitzi. I think I will.
Why, my father says he couldn't hear anything if all...
Mitzi!
If all the fire engines in town let loose at once.
Oh. Your father says that, too, does he, Mitzi?
Yes. Well, good night, Mr. Foster, and sweet dreams.
Oh, yes. Sweet dreams, Mitz. Sweet dreams.
And now, back to A Date with Judy.
Oh, Mother, wasn't that the most wonderful picture you ever saw?
Yes, Judy, I certainly enjoyed it.
I think it's a shame poor Father had to miss it.
Poor old father.
Sometimes I think we don't appreciate how hard Father works. Do you, Randolph?
I'll take the next question.
Well, here we are.
All the lights are out. I guess Father's sound asleep.
Well, we'll just leave the car right here in the driveway. That garage door makes so much noise, might wake him up.
Yes, let's be very quiet.
Well, I'm glad I got a new lock for the front door. At least it won't squeak when we open it.
I just thought of something.
What, Randolph?
Wouldn't it be funny if we'd gone to all this trouble to be quiet and then Mother had forgotten her key?
Randolph, what a horrible idea.
Don't worry about it, Judy. I have one clear record. I've never forgotten a key in my entire... Oh, dear.
What's the matter, Mother?
Mother just broke her record.
Randolph, you're right.
Oh, jeepers, Mother, what'll we do?
Well, we're not going to disturb your father. Come on, the back door might be open.
It's no use, Mother. The door's locked.
Randolph, you'll just have to climb through a window.
Raffles Foster, they called me in those days.
Oh, dear. Every window on the first floor is locked.
I always wondered what it would be like to be a second-story man.
Well, there's a ladder in the garage. Randolph, be careful. I think there's a rung in that ladder.
Yeah, what'd you say, Mother?
I said I think there's a rung in that...
What?
Randolph, are you hurt?
Oh, no, I always walk on my knees. Now, what were you going to say, Mother?
Well, I was just going to say there's a broken rung in that...
And you were so right, Mother.
Well, there's nothing else to do. We'll just have to waken your father. Judy, will you ring the doorbell, dear?
All right, Mother. I don't hear any ring, Mother.
Well, I just had it fixed, so I know it works perfectly.
Oh, we probably just can't hear it outside. I'll try again.
This is drama.
Randolph.
It'll probably take your father several minutes to get down here. He's never gotten out of bed yet without hitting that night table. It's a wonder he has any toe left.
It's a wonder we have any night table left.
Mother, I don't hear any sounds inside.
Oh, dear. Well, try knocking. Maybe the bell is out of order. You know, I can't understand your father sleeping through all this racket. He's such a light sleeper. He's always said he could hear a pin drop.
Well, here's my Boy Scout pin. I'll drop it.
Oh, you know, I'm a little worried. Maybe he's sick or something.
Come on, let's call outside his window.
Well, that's a good idea. Melvin! Melvin! It's Dora!
Father! Father, it's Judy!
I'm Randolph.
It's no use. He just doesn't hear us. Randolph, that settles it.
We sleep in the garage?
No, we'll have to call the police.
The police?
Well, I'm worried. Something might have happened to your father. And I've got to get to him, even if that door has to be broken down.
Well, there you are, folks. The door's open.
And it was such a nice new lock,
Oh.
too.
Thank you so much. Now, please wait just a minute till I see if my husband's all right.
Oh, Father's all right. I just know he is, Mother.
Maybe he went down to see the midnight show at the Bijou.
Melvin! Melvin, where are you?
There he is, Mother, in bed.
Father! Father, are you all right?
Melvin, speak to me. Melvin, speak to me. Can't you hear us?
Could you, if your ears were stuffed with cotton?
Cotton? Oh, of all the ridiculous things. Putting cotton in his ears so he couldn't hear me. I'll shake him, that's what I'll do. I'll shake him.
Dora, what's going
Oh,
on?
nothing at all. We've just spent 2 horrible hours trying to waken you to let us in the house. That's all.
We shouted our lungs out. Randolph is black and blue where he fell off the ladder.
That I am.
Then we finally called the police department, woke up all the neighbors, and the new lock on the front door smashed to smithereens.
Oh, but Dora,
And you're lying here with cotton in your ears.
Well, is everything all right?
Now, that's an interesting question.
Yes, my father's fine. He was just sleeping.
With cotton in his ears.
What's that?
Well, he's all right. Thank you very much for breaking the door open.
It's a pleasure. Good night.
Night.
Oh, Melvin, it wasn't enough that you took the phone off the hook and disconnected the doorbell. You had to put cotton in your ears, too.
Dora, all I wanted was to be sure I got a good night's sleep.
Well, all I can say is that to warrant all the trouble he's caused, your customer surely must be important.
That he is, Mother. That he is.
Randolph, wake up.
I can't.
Why not?
I haven't been asleep.
Look, Randolph, we've got to hurry. I've got to stop at the plant. I've got to stop at the plant for my gun.
Father,
Yes, Randolph.
couldn't we just make a deal with O'Brien's meat market and buy some ducks?
Randolph, what an unsportsmanlike thing to say. Besides, I found out last year he doesn't handle wild ducks.
Oh.
Now, dress quietly and we'll slip out the back door. We mustn't waken your mother or Judy. Let's see. Here's everything. Shells, decoy whistle, bag to carry the ducks in. Think of anything else we'll need, Randolph?
Just some ducks.
Randolph. Now, let's see. Here's my gun. Well, guess we're ready to go.
There we are. I got you covered.
What in the name of...
Get your hands up and keep them up.
But, officer, I'm Melvin Foster. I own this plant.
Sure, I know. And you just emptied that safe to have it painted.
The safe? Painted? Oh, yes. As a matter of fact, that's right. I did.
Shame on you. A big, strong man like you telling a whopper like that to an officer of the law.
You should hear the ones he tells Mother.
Randolph!
Well, now, son, what are you doing here?
Well, he's showing me what it's like to have the most exciting experience in a man's life.
Oh, so that's it. Training a young kid like you to follow in his footsteps.
Now, see here, officer. You're making a big mistake. I tell you, I'm Melvin Foster. This is my son, Randolph. We're going duck hunting. We stopped off here to get my gun.
Why didn't you take your gun home with you?
Well, I didn't want my wife to suspect I was going.
I'll tell you what. I'll call your house, and if you're not there, I'll believe your story.
What if he is there?
I'm taking him in.
You'd better not be there, Father.
Now, you just tell me the number.
Certainly. Elm 36... Oh,
What's trouble?
I just remembered. It won't do any good to call the house. The phone's off the hook.
I'll tell you what I'll do. We'll drive out there, and if your wife says you're Melvin Foster, we'll forget the whole thing.
Well, that's fine. Come on.
Father, I just thought of something.
What, Randolph?
What are you going to tell Mother?
Well, I'll just tell her the... Oh, my goodness.
Well, come on.
Officer, I just remembered the doorbell doesn't work.
These are about the feeblest excuses I've ever heard.
Well,
Now, make up your mind. Wife or jail?
Father, I think you'd better take the jail.
Miss, I'm sorry to wake you up at this hour, but is this Melvin Foster's residence?
Yes, it is. Officer, is there anything the matter?
Well, I caught a man prowling in your father's plant who says he's Melvin Foster. It's out there in my car.
Oh, that's ridiculous. My father's sound asleep upstairs.
This man seemed pretty positive.
Well, he's mistaken. And now, if you don't mind, I'd be very grateful if you'd go away quietly. My father's likely to hear the noise, and it's absolutely imperative that he not be disturbed.
Ah, that's that. Mr. Foster?
Yes.
The young lady says you're upstairs sound asleep.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Look, try again. Ask her to go look to see if her father's there.
Have a look for me, too.
Well,
Look, let me come with you.
okay. But you're going to be mighty sorry if you are upstairs.
Please, I must ask you not to disturb us anymore.
Judy, it's me.
Father!
Me, too.
Him, too.
Randolph! Well, for goodness sakes, what are you two doing with the policeman? Mother!
Judy, you don't have to wake up your the whole neighborhood.
Well, what on earth is the Melvin?
Hello, Dora.
Melvin, what's the trouble? What's this policeman doing here?
Well, you see, it was this way.
Can you identify these two, Mrs. Foster?
Why, of course, it's my husband and my son.
Well, then, good night. I'll be on my way. I'm sorry, Mr. Foster.
Oh, it's nothing. Nothing at all. Goodbye.
So long.
My, it's certainly a beautiful night, isn't it? It's the loveliest night.
Melvin, will you please explain this?
Explain? Well, of course, Dora. It's the simplest thing in the world.
Well, all right, then go ahead.
Well, you see, it was this way. I got to thinking that it so happened that, well, you see, it was all because, I felt that, well, it was this way.
You see, Mother?
Melvin, you and Randolph had better get a move on if you expect to meet that important customer on the 5:15 train.
Oh, yes, that's right. Randolph, it's 4:50. Come on, we'll have to hurry. Goodbye, Dora. Goodbye, Judy.
And Melvin.
Yes, Dora.
I've asked both the Emersons and the Hoffmans to dinner, so you'd better bring back plenty of duck.
Well, sure, I'll probably bring home at least... Why, Dora!
Hold on. We'll be back at the Fosters in a moment. Now, here are the Fosters again.
Gee, Judy, that was the most wonderful dinner.
I'm glad you liked it, Mitzi.
I sure did. It was luscious of your mother to ask me to stay.
Yeah, it was nice of her to let me stay, too. I wouldn't have missed that dinner for anything.
Did you really enjoy it, Oogie?
Did I? Oh, boy, there's nothing I like better than baked beans.
Well, that's good. I was a little worried. You see, Oogie, Mother kind of expected ducks, but you know what they say? The best laid plans of mice and men often go to pot.
I'll say.
I'll say.
I'll say.
A Date with Judy is written by Eileen Leslie and stars Louise Erickson. Randolph was played by Tommy Cook. Mr. and Mrs. Foster are played by John Brown and Myra Marsh. Oogie by Scott Elliott and Mitzi by Sandra Gould. Original music was composed by Paul Sawtell and conducted by Konstantin Bakalinikov. The program was produced and directed by Helen Madge.
This is the Armed Forces Radio Service.
Alright, that concludes the first episode of the night. I hope you all liked it, and take your 5-minute break, and we'll be back then. Yeah. And that concludes our 5-minute break. I hope you liked the music, and let's get to episode 2 of the night. Yay! Woo!
A Date with Judy. Well, let's see what's happening at the Foster house. Judy's parents and her kid brother Randolph are in the living room when the front door opens, and Judy wants everybody to...
Guess what? The most exciting thing has happened.
Van Johnson's in town.
Randolph.
Judy, where have you been?
Yes, it's 9:45.
I'm sorry, but I was at a meeting of the Shakespeare Club.
The Shakespeare Club?
Formerly the high school sorority.
Oh, now the Shakespeare Club.
Yes, didn't you know?
No, I didn't know.
Oh, yes. We decided sororities were snobbish institutions not proper in a democratic country. So we disbanded the thing.
And 5 minutes later, rebanded it and called it the Shakespeare Club.
Well, anyhow, it's democratic. There isn't any blackballing a girl because she doesn't happen to be popular or come from a wonderful family or something.
No?
No. Now we simply blackball them if they haven't any intellectual merit.
Oh, I see. Now, if a girl has never heard of Shakespeare. Bang!
Well, anyhow, this is my big news. We girls voted tonight to have a formal tea next Saturday afternoon. And guess where it's to be held?
I give up.
Here.
Here?
Well, isn't that adorable?
Yeah, sure. Remind me to be playing golf next Saturday afternoon.
Now for the plans. The girls want everything strictly in the spirit of Shakespeare and the Elizabethan era, in which Shakespeare lived, of course. Do you see, Mother?
No.
I do. Father and I keep slapping our cloaks down on the ground like Sir Walter Raleigh.
Mother, please utterly ignore Randolph, utterly, and let's get down to business. Now, do we have any family heirlooms?
Well, we have the old four-poster bed that used to belong to Grandma.
Oh, Mother, we can't have that downstairs where everybody can see it.
Well, we could carry the girls upstairs piggyback and show it to them.
Randolph, that isn't what I mean. Jeepers, don't we even have a beautiful old silver tea set that has been handed down from mother to daughter?
No, Judy, we don't.
Not even a gold one.
Oh, the trouble with this family is we just don't have any ancestors.
Now, wait a minute. I wouldn't exactly say that.
It certainly would be nice on an occasion like this. We had some old silver that used to belong to Queen Elizabeth.
Oh, say, I have an old autographed picture that used to belong to Queenie LaRue. She was quite a girl.
Oh, how can anybody give an Elizabethan tea with a family like this? Oh, dear. A girl's family can certainly make a woman frustrated. I can see only one way out unless I want this sort of thing to continue all my life.
What's that?
I'm going to have to marry a millionaire.
Yeah, well, that would be one way out.
If I were a millionaire, I could buy an heirloom.
You might even have a little change left over.
Father, if you'd give me $5, I could buy a
No.
nice... It'd be a good investment.
Well, your father isn't going to make any more investments, Judy. He isn't very smart about them.
Just what do you mean by that, Dora?
I mean the buggy whips that you and Ed Emerson bought.
Well...
You mean the 469 horse-hide leather whips, pardon me, that Father and Mr. Emerson bought at an auction?
468. I sold one to George Whiteman.
Well, Melvin, they've been cluttering up our garage for so long, I finally called a man about them.
You did, Dora? Well, what's his offer?
$6.
$6? Why, Dora, that's wonderful. I told you it was a good investment, and that if I just held on to them long enough, I'd make a profit. Imagine, I made a 20% profit. I only paid $5 for them.
He's charging $6 to haul them away, Melvin.
Isn't anybody going to take my problem to
Well,
heart?
Judy, dear, I think you'll have to figure out something for your party without asking your father to make an investment.
Say, Foster, hold on a minute.
Oh, hello, Emerson.
How'd you like to go into a little deal with me?
Oh, no, Emerson, I've made up my mind. From now on, I'm sticking to my own business. No more side deals with you.
But, Foster, this is a sure thing. You'll double your money in 2 weeks.
No, Emerson, I've made up my mind. And when Melvin Foster makes up his mind, that's it.
Final. Maybe quadruple your money.
Quadruple? Oh, Emerson, nobody quadruples their money in 2 weeks.
Well, you would on this. It's foolproof.
What, huh? No, Emerson, I'm sorry. I am definitely not interested.
Well, have it your way. I just thought I'd give you first choice.
Thank you very much, old man, but not this time.
Okay, Foster. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Emerson.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Emerson.
Yes, Foster?
What is the deal?
No, if you're not interested, I'm not going to talk you into it.
Well, you got my curiosity aroused.
Nope, I'm not a man to sell a fellow something he doesn't want.
Oh, come on now, Emerson. Tell me.
Nope. When Melvin Foster makes up his mind, that's it. Final.
Oh, come on.
Well, all right, if you insist.
No, that's a pal, Emerson. What is it?
A racehorse.
A racehorse? Emerson, that is the most ridiculous thing you've ever proposed. What do we know about horses? We don't even go to the races.
We don't have to know anything about horses. But I guess I know women, don't I?
I don't know, do you?
Well, I guess I'm married to one.
That doesn't necessarily make you an authority. Besides, what has that got to do with buying a racehorse?
Well, this horse is owned by a woman. Name's Jane Walsh from Atlanta. I met her with George Whiteman the other day. And did she tell me everything she knew? Without suspecting, of course, that she was giving me the lowdown.
Really?
Yeah. You know, Foster, women just don't have any business sense at all.
Yeah. You're right there, Emerson. They really need a guardian.
Yeah. What a sucker she is.
Yeah.
Well, before she got through talking, I found out that Mary Lee...
Mary Lee?
That's the name of the horse. Kentucky Thoroughbred.
Oh.
Well, this Mary Lee can do the mile in 1:20.
1:20? 1 minute and 20 seconds?
That's right, Foster.
The mile in 1:20? Is that good?
Good. Foster, it's sensational. In fact, it's practically unbelievable. Boy, that Miss Walsh didn't realize what she was saying when she let that information go.
Yeah, well, there's a woman for you. Tells you everything she knows.
Now, here's the best part, Foster.
Yeah.
This woman is such a sucker that we can buy this horse for practically a song.
What kind of a song? I mean, how much?
$300?
$300?
Well, $300 apiece.
Oh, well, now, Emerson, I don't know. That's a lot of money. And if Dora ever found out that I was investing $300 in a horse, well...
Foster, Dora doesn't have to know anything about it. The day after we hit her in the sweepstakes, we'll sell it. We'll probably get $10,000.
Oh, are you sure, Emerson?
Sure. Didn't I spend half an hour getting the lowdown from Miss Walsh herself?
Okay, Emerson, count me in. But boy, oh boy, this Mary Lee better be a terrific runner. Hello? Is this the sports editor?
Yep.
This is Melvin Foster. Say, I wonder if you could tell me if today's race results have come in.
Yeah, most of them.
Would you mind telling me how Mary Lee did in the fifth? I was curious because, just curious.
Yeah, I know. Hold on a minute.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hello, Father, dear.
Oh, hello, Judy. Home early, aren't you?
No, the usual time.
What'd you say her name was?
I said her name was Mary Lee. Judy, don't you think you ought to get right upstairs to your study?
Why, no, Father, not yet.
Oh, you don't? Well, let me tell you...
What race did you say?
The fifth.
Mary Lee in the fifth race.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is.
Ah.
Well, she didn't do bad for such an old nag.
Oh, is that so?
Came in sixth.
Oh.
Don't feel too bad, mister. There were 7 horses running. One did even worse than yours.
What was the time?
Let's see, 1:42.
1:42? 1:42?
Sorry, mister. Better luck next time.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Who was that, Father?
That Emerson. Wait till I get my hands on him.
Why, Father, what's he done?
Huh? What's who done?
Mr. Emerson.
Nothing really, Judy.
Is Mary Lee someone I know?
Mary Lee? No, Judy, I don't think so. She's a cousin of Mr. Emerson who's coming to visit him.
Really? When?
When?
You said something about the fifth.
Oh, yes, that's right. She'll be here on the 5th. On the 1:42. You see, Mr. Emerson had just noticed on his calendar that he and Mrs. Emerson had a dinner date at our house for that night, and he wanted to know if he could bring Mary Lee along.
You didn't sound very happy about it.
Well, I'm not.
Don't you want them to bring Mary here?
Yes. I was just thinking about the added work for your mother, a stranger and all.
How old is she?
From what I just heard, she's 20 years old if she's a day.
Really?
The old nag.
Oh, that's not so old. In 4 years, I'll be 20 myself.
Well, I hope you'll be able to run faster than she can.
What?
Oh, nothing.
What's she like? Is she pretty? Is she interesting? Or a celebrity or
Look,
something?
Judy, I don't know. All I know is that Ed Emerson said she was from one of Kentucky's best families.
Really, Father? Why, that's wonderful. Mary Lee of Kentucky, the very hub of the social center. Why, she's probably met the most prominent members of the Horsey set face to face.
Well, from what I know, Judy, I doubt if she's seen any of them except from the rear.
Randolph, do you know what?
No.
We are going to have a dinner guest the night of the 5th, the same day as my Shakespeare Club party. And she's a great social light of old Kentucky.
So what?
So everything, don't you see? I am going to make her the nucleus of my party.
The what?
Randolph, I'm going to build the whole party around her. I'm going to get her to come in time for my Shakespeare gala fete. Why, having a celebrity like that is just as good as...
An old family heirloom?
Well, yes, in a way. Mary Lee of Kentucky, my guest of honor.
What does she know about Shakespeare?
Oh, what does it matter? The point is she stands for old tradition and everything. Her family probably goes right back to Elizabethan days. Oh, Randolph, I know what I'll do.
What?
I'm going to phone the Daily Bugle and tell them to print a whole story about Mary Lee. Can you imagine how impressed Father will be?
And now, back to A Date with Judy.
I just knew if I called you at the Daily Bugle, you'd be interested. Really? A picture of her? Well, as soon as she gets into town, I'll give you a ring, and you can send out your photographer. Oh, thank you terribly much. It's just wonderful of you. Goodbye. Oh, Randolph, it's absolutely sensational. The Bugle's going to take a picture of her.
That's nice.
Hello?
Judith Foster, what have you been doing on that phone? I've been trying to get you for the past hour.
I'm sorry, Mother, but I had to call Simply Everybody about the party. I wanted to be sure Simply Everybody came to meet Mary Lee.
Who's Mary Lee?
My mother. She's Mr. Emerson's cousin from Kentucky. She's coming to our house to dinner with the Emersons the night of the party. Didn't Father tell you?
Well, he certainly didn't. I wish he'd let me know when he's invited people.
He probably just forgot to mention it. Mother, where are you?
I'm downtown. Which reminds me, I just ran into Mrs. Emerson. And do you know she was on her way to a bridge party at Mrs. Whiteman's, and I'm not invited?
You're not, Mother?
No. Can you imagine?
Oh, that's a shame.
The party's for a Miss Walsh of Atlanta. Can you imagine, Mrs. Whiteman? Well, believe me, it's the last time I ever asked her to one of my parties. Not that it matters to me in the slightest. I assure you I'm not giving it a thought.
What did you phone me about, Mother?
Well, oh, dear. I'm so upset I can't remember.
Well, that's it. Four spades double. That's the rubber.
Why, Miss Walsh, I must say you play a very good game of bridge. I hope while you're here you'll come over to my house for a little game one day.
Oh, why, thank you so much, but I'm afraid I won't be able to accept. I must go on to New York to see about a play.
Oh, you're an actress?
Mm-hmm. I've played everything. However, for some little time now, I must confess I've been at liberty.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yes, we as a theater have our ups and downs, you know. Oh, yesterday I was reduced to selling one of my dearest possessions.
An heirloom?
Well, it was in the family almost long enough to be considered an heirloom.
Jewels?
A racehorse.
You mean somebody in this town bought a racehorse?
Yes, I'm a little afraid I took advantage of the poor man. But at any rate, I made a very good deal.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I got considerable more money than I had any intention of asking. It happened kind of funny, you know. I was just kind of kidding along about Mary Lee.
Mary Lee?
Well, that's the name of the horse. Pretty, isn't it?
Oh, yes, sir.
Well, as I was saying, I was just kind of kidding along about this horse, and before I knew it, this man took me seriously, and there just wasn't anything I could do to convince him that I'd only been joshing.
Well.
He practically forced the money on me. You know, sometimes I think men need a guardian in their business deals. They're so gullible. At least this poor Mr. Emerson was.
Whom did you say?
Mr. Emerson, Mr. Ed Emerson.
Oh.
Well, I must be going now, Mrs. Oh, I don't believe we were ever properly introduced.
No, we weren't. I'm Mrs. Emerson, Mrs. Ed Emerson.
Oh, Mrs. Emerson. Oh, dear, Miss Emerson. Oh, dear.
Oh, Mother, this is the swankiest lineup of guests a girl ever had.
Oh, that's nice, dear. Melvin.
Yes, Dora, what is it?
Melvin, there can't be anything on the sports page so important that it can't wait.
Oh?
Well, I want to speak to you about Mary Lee.
Mary Lee? Dora, how'd you find out about her?
Judy told me.
Judy? How did she know?
Why, Father, you told me yourself.
I did?
Yes, Melvin, I certainly think you should have told me.
Well, Dora, I just didn't want to worry you.
Worry me?
Well, yes, Dora, after all, there wasn't much you could do about it.
Why, Melvin, that's not true. I could have started my spring house cleaning earlier. Now, there's not going to be much time.
Much time for what?
Well, all I can say is the next time you ask a stranger to dinner, you let me know.
Stranger? Dinner?
Yes.
Who's coming to dinner?
Well,
Mary Lee, Father, with the Emersons.
Huh?
Don't you remember? You were talking to Mr. Emerson about Mary Lee arriving on the 5th, and you said...
Oh, yes, the 5th. Oh, for goodness sake.
What'd you say, Melvin?
Nothing, Dora, nothing at all. About Mary Lee coming to dinner.
Oh.
Yeah, the reason I didn't say anything to you was that Ed told me the next day that she couldn't come after all.
Oh, she can't?
Mary Lee isn't coming?
Oh.
But, Father, she's got to.
Judy, there's lots of things that Mary Lee is supposed to do, and she generally doesn't.
But, Father, I told everybody she was going to be the guest of honor at my Shakespeare Club party. And the Bugle is going to run her picture 2 columns wide.
I'm very sorry, but what?
Yes, Father, we've got to do something.
We certainly have. You call everybody up and tell them Mary Lee is not coming.
But, Father, think of my reputation.
Judy, that's exactly what I am thinking of. Ed Emerson. Oh, boy, I've been wanting to see you. What are you going to do about Mary Lee?
Why should I do anything about it?
Well, you're the one that got me into this. You're the one who made me sink $300 in a nag that couldn't get to a fire if they built one under her.
Well, you're the one who changed her into a Kentucky socialite who eats her dinner off a silver tray.
That. Well, I was in a spot, Emerson, and I had to say something.
Well, you didn't have to make her a member of the Emerson family.
Well, if she's got long ears and a tail, I'm not far wrong.
Very funny, Foster. Very funny.
Emerson, when I think what a sucker you were to fall for that Walsh woman's line...
Is that so? Now, I want to tell you something. That Walsh woman met my wife this afternoon at a bridge party.
What? Don't tell me she spilled the beans.
Well, it didn't take my wife long to put two and two together and to take me apart.
Oh, that's funny. I can just hear her. Oh, so you bought a horse. So you bought a horse. Yattata, yattata, yattata. I'll bet she was furious.
Yeah. And you won't think it's so funny when your wife finds out you won't have it.
Ed, you wouldn't tell her.
Oh, I wouldn't, eh?
Ed, my friend, what do you think we should do now?
Well, I think I got everything fixed up. I told my wife that the whole thing was a coincidence. Some other episode.
Uh-huh.
And that I actually did have a cousin named Mary Lee who lived in Kentucky.
Did she believe you?
No.
Oh. Well, then you're right back where you started.
You mean that we are right back where we started?
Yes.
Well, I said I'd prove it to her. I was in such an awful spot. I said if I couldn't produce Mary Lee, my name wasn't Ed Emerson.
Hello, Mr. Smith.
Is that so? Well, Foster, there'd better be a Mary Lee to show my wife, or you'll know the reason why.
What, me? Emerson, I don't know any girls named Mary Lee.
Well, Foster, she was your story, and all I can say is you'd better hurry up and get acquainted with a Mary Lee.
Oh, no. Randolph, if you had to persuade a girl from Kentucky named Mary Lee to arrive here on the 142 train on the 5th of this month, and you didn't even know a girl named Mary Lee, what would you do?
Have you tried writing to Mr. Anthony?
Randolph, can't you think of something?
Why does everybody in this family bring their problems to me?
Well, you may have a wife and a daughter like Judy yourself someday. This is good practice for you.
Tell me, Father, who is Mary Lee, the one that started all this?
A racehorse I bought with Ed Emerson.
Well, that should take care of one of those buggy whips in the garage.
Randolph, I need help.
Well, Father, if I were in your spot...
Yes, Randolph?
I'd leave town.
Yes, I thought of that.
On the other hand, we'd miss you here. Well, let's see. Well, you might just call a theatrical agency and get them to send an actress with a southern accent to play the part of Mary Lee.
Randolph, that's a wonderful idea.
Elementary, my dear Father, elementary.
Hello, Mitz, this is Jude again. Mary Lee will be here after all. Daily Bugle? Mary Lee? Oh, she's definitely coming. She'll arrive today on the 142 train. We're all going to the train to meet her, so why don't you just send your photographer down to the station?
Now, Judy, don't get excited.
Oh, jeepers, the train will be here any minute. Aren't you excited, Mr. Emerson, about seeing your cousin again?
Oh, very, Judy.
I think long-lost relatives are so interesting. Don't you, Mrs. Emerson?
Yes, I certainly do, especially ones that have been lost this long.
You never know quite what to expect.
Truer words were never spoken.
I just thought of something. It's been so long since you've seen her. How will you know her?
Yes, how will you, Mr. Emerson?
Well, she has brown eyes, brown mane, brown hair, and she's 5 feet 3 inches tall.
Melvin, how do you know?
Me? Oh, Ed told me, didn't you, Ed?
What? Oh, yes, indeed.
Well, that's funny. He told me she had blue eyes and blonde hair.
Oh, well,
Oh, you know how changeable some women are.
I'm sure we won't have any trouble finding her. Ed, you take the front end of the train, and I'll take the other, and we'll simply ask each girl who gets off if she's Mary Lee.
Here comes the train, Father.
You stay right here, folks. Ed and I'll find her.
All right.
Okay, Father.
Now remember, Ed, they told her at the theatrical agency that Melvin Foster would meet her at the train and give her the rest of the instructions.
Okay. Well, what's her real name?
I don't know. We thought it'd be better if she just answered to Mary Lee, so there wouldn't be any slip-ups.
Exciting, Mother.
Oh, very. Oh, you know, Dora, I'm ashamed to admit it, but I honestly didn't believe Ed when he said he had a cousin, Mary Lee. You know, I thought she was a racehorse.
What?
Yes. Well, this has taught me a lesson. I'll never doubt his word again.
Mrs. Emerson, how nice to see you.
Oh, hello, Miss Walsh. So you didn't go to New York after all?
Oh, no, Miss Emerson. I finally got a little job, and would you believe it? It's in this very town.
Oh, is it a good play?
Well, it's not exactly a play. I'm to impersonate a girl named Mary Lee.
What?
Yeah. Isn't that amusing? Mr. Foster was to meet me here.
Mr. Foster?
Mr. Melvin Foster. Do you know him?
Slightly.
Well, do you happen to know if he's here?
Randolph.
He's here.
Miss Walsh, I'm Mrs. Foster, and this is my husband. Melvin, this is Miss Walsh.
How do you do? Has anybody seen...
Mr. Foster, I'm so glad to meet you.
Yeah, I'm glad to meet you, too. Look, Randolph, have you seen...
Now, Mr. Foster, just what was it you wanted me to do with Mary Lee?
I'll be happy to talk to you later, madam. Right now, I'm... What?
Well, I said just what was
no.
Ditto.
Foster, I've asked every girl that got off my end of the train, but no soap. Did you see Mary Lee?
He saw her.
it? Why, Mr. Emerson, I didn't expect to see all my friends down here at the train.
Oh, hello, Miss Walsh.
Oh, you can just call me Mary Lee. I'd better start getting used to it.
Mary Lee?
That's what she said. That's what the girl said. She said that.
Yes, Ed Emerson, Mary Lee.
Foster, you... Emerson, how did I know?
How did you know what, Melvin?
I don't know. I don't know anything.
But if Miss Walsh is Miss Walsh, how can she be Mary Lee? I don't understand all this.
You will.
Well, Ed, you certainly produced your cousin all right.
Well, I don't understand any of this.
Well, Dora Foster, just wait till I tell you what this fine husband of mine has been up to.
Now, wait a minute. Before you begin on me, just tell Mrs. Foster that Mr. Foster owns half that horse.
Emerson. Ed Emerson. Et tu, Brute.
And stop calling me names.
Melvin Foster, I have something to say to you. And Ed Emerson, I have something to say to you.
Now, Dora.
Now, honey,
Excuse me, I'm from the Daily Bugle. Now, which one of you is Mary Lee?
Well, you see,
That's it. Hold it, please. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Stop him, somebody.
Oh, I'll die. That's what I'll do. I'll just die. What if the Shakespeare Club finds out the guest of honor is a horse?
Well, excuse me, but have I said something I shouldn't have?
Oh, for the love of heaven.
A Date with Judy is written by Eileen Leslie and stars Louise Erickson. Randolph was played by Tommy Cook. Mr. and Mrs. Foster are played by John Brown and Myra Marsh. Original music was composed by Paul Sawtelle and conducted by Konstantin Bakalinikov. The program was produced and directed by Helen Mack.
This is the Armed Forces Radio Service.